Hello, everyone. Super Saturday to you. I'm Gail Williams. I've been in Young Living for 4 years, and today I'm just going to talk a little bit about the mature brain and body. I'm first going to tell you just a few random facts about myself, and then I'll sort of give you the reason for all the random facts here in just a little bit later. Then I'm going to just briefly talk about how I got started in Young Living, how my needs as a nurse kind of correlate with possibly your needs, and then again, what main products that I find that have been useful to me. I apologize, this light is kind of bothering me just a little bit, but I guess you can see me right. I'm having computer issues. Anyway, okay, so my father was the oldest boy of 12 children. He dropped out of the 4th grade just to take care of his 10 sisters and a brother when his dad died. Now, I told you these are just random facts, and I'll tie them together here in just a minute. I was 18 years old when we got a hot water heater, in our home so that I didn't have to stay up after everyone went to bed, which is really just my daddy. But anyway, I wouldn't have to stay up after he went to bed to get my bath because I had to, boil the water on the stove to get warm water for a bath. My mama died when I was 13 years old, and I was an only child, so I became adult pretty instantly. I learned to cook when my Aunt Ollie told me to put hog jowl in the peas. You put the pigtails in the collards. And of course, you flour all the meat and you cook it in grease until they don't bleed anymore. So those were my cooking instructions. I was the first person in my family to ever go to college, and that was due to a scholarship. Praise the Lord for that. And I became a registered nurse. There was never a doubt that I would not be a nurse because the last several years of her life was spent in and out of comas, more in the hospital than at home because of kidney cancer. And there was just never a doubt in my mind that I was not going to help sick people. So all that I said to show you a situation of how I personally was just sort of scraping by. There was never any mention or any knowledge about making healthy choices. We just had to get whatever we could afford. And even as a young adult, when I started having children of my own, I got the cheapest soap, whatever was the cheapest food to buy so that I could buy school supplies and clothes for my kids. Now, this is a total aside, not about the topic I wanted to talk to you about, but I'm just going to throw this in because I wanted you to know that it's very important to talk to people about what their problem is that they want to solve. And then you can show them the value and the high quality that you have to offer in our products. You see, it's I'm sorry, I was thinking, and I was I was stuttering in my mind, I guess. But it's a matter of just transfer buying. You're not spending more, you're just buying a different brand. And this brand is far superior than the brands that you're used to using. I threw that in there because I have someone on my team that's actually a millionaire. And that person looks pretty much like they're in destitute poverty because they won't spend any money on anything. So it's all about the education that we give, and they have to know the quality of what they're getting in order to be able to spend the money that they need to for any particular product that they might need. Now, why did I get into Young Living? Well, I was born with asthma, and I had a pretty rough time when I was a child with that. The doctor said I would probably grow out of it, so I guess that's what happened until about 8 years ago. And it returned with a vengeance. In about 6 years' time, I was in the hospital on 4 different occasions. The very last time, I was offered to actually go on a ventilator because I was having such trouble wheezing. Okay, well, that's just, I just wanted to say that because that's part of my history, but that's part of the reason why I got into Young Living. You see, as I've already told you about my childhood, and I went for cheaper. Everything I was taught was cheaper. I then became a nurse, and that's pretty much what we call Western medicine. And that sort of doesn't have necessarily any points of agreement on, healthier choices or natural wellness, you might say. So basically, I was sort of steeped in the ideology that all that natural wellness stuff was just a bunch of hooey. A hooey. If you've ever heard that word before. But anyway, so the reason I wanted to say that as far as getting into Young Living is because while I was in this state, not knowing whether or not I would actually live to get out of the hospital, I prayed for the Lord to show me if there's something that I don't know about that could help me. Okay? Put that down. Fast forward a few months later, and somebody with an advertisement comes by the desk where I'm working, and it was about an Oils of the Bible class. Now, this was 4 years ago. Now, here's a key. Because of my background and because of, quote, Western medicine, I really was not open to natural health and wellness. As I said, thinking it was kind of hooey. But however, I was interested in the topic of oils in the Bible. That just sort of seemed very interesting to me. So it was fascinating. So I went to the class. I heard all about ancient oils and actually how they could benefit us in today's world. Now, in all transparency, I left that class without any purchase. This is the important takeaway on that point. No only means not now. Because what happened to me as I was driving from Alabama to Florida, I was thinking about that class. And all of a sudden it hits me like a ton of bricks that perhaps this was the help that I was looking for, that I had prayed for, that I didn't know about. I turned the car right around in the middle of the road, went back to the acquaintance that had talked to me about the oils. I bought a premium starter kit. I got on Essential Rewards. So, that was sort of my introduction to how I got into oils. And I knew immediately that if it worked, because I was going to give it a try, and if it worked, I wanted to share. So I was ready to talk about the business also. Now, I have been a registered nurse for 43 years. So let me give you a generalization of a regular day for me. And what I want you to do is see if you can compare your day to some of that. Well, you see, my mind needs to act like a computer with several windows open, scanning multiple observations and scenarios, needing answers, coordinating, organizing multiple tasks that needs to be completed all at the same time, simultaneously, delegating, coordinating numerous different personnel, different people, and all this while being bombarded with all kinds of phone calls and questions, trying to help doctors or other people with issues that didn't even pertain to me, really. So, or the task at hand that I needed, that I was involved with. So, all the while this is going on, I have to keep my mental, emotional, and attitudinal self in check and not get upset with all of that. If you have lungs, if you are breathing, I know you can relate to that. So, my issue. My mind needed to be like a computer, but it was slowing down. And I would walk out of a room and I'd forget to take the juice back that I told her I would bring or some other little something. The computer was just slowing down. So I started searching because now I am learning about oils and I'm wanting to know what might be something that could help me in this area. So the first thing I came across was brain power oil. Now I use that topically on the way to work. It helps kind of deepen concentration. I also used another oil along with it called Clarity, which helps bring or focus solutions to the forefront to deal with problems. And I would put that on the way to work. Now, I'm not going to get into specifics about those two oils simply because Dr. Jessica has a stupendously wonderful video on both of them in this group. Make sure you go watch it if you haven't seen it yet, or a review, because there's a lot of things, that we may have forgotten, put on the back burner. So the third thing that I tried, that I discovered, was called MindWise. Now, MindWise not only supports the brain, but also a healthy heart function. It's harvested from Sacha Inchi nuts. I had not heard of that before I started discovering what MindWise was. But it's creating an oil with unmatched percentages of omega-3 fatty acids. And I know you've probably all heard of that. It has generous amounts of vitamin D3. It has proprietary memory function blend of a biogenetic CoQ10, and that word just means that it's made just like the body makes it. It has something called ALCAR, ALCAR, and GPC. Now, being a nurse for 43 years, if I ever learned anything about those two things, I forgot it. And yes, there was a pun intended. But I Googled it. I found that there was some awesome ingredients, and they've all been studied for their unique health benefits. So you can Google that also. Now, all you really need from me is to let you know it worked fantastically for me. Um, if I didn't take it, or if I don't take it now, I could tell the difference. I have been retired for 2 years, so I still take it on a daily basis. And the other oils that I mentioned, Brain Power, Clarity, I just use those when I need sort of a sporadic need for more concentration. But the Mind Wise, I take on a daily basis. I'm sorry, I was hunting my bottle. Voila. It comes in a big bottle like this. You refrigerate it once it's opened. There is a sachet. Now this one has to be refrigerated. The sachet is formulated to be stable, so it does not need refrigeration. So this is perfect to drop in your purse, your lunchbox, or wherever you're traveling. It's a good to go thing. It's advertised as a fruity, nutty kind of flavor. It's not really bad to me. It's sort of like I guess like a dark cherry kind of taste. I know I've run into a lot of people that didn't particularly like it, but I put it in my Ningxia Red drink every day. I use sulfur zyme in there and the Ningxia Red, and if I feel like I need a little more energy, I put the, oh my gosh, can you tell this wore off? I can't even think of the little tiny, looks like a toothpaste thing for a little more energy. And it too was actually created to help focus in the brain. And sometimes I'll even put that in a zing to give me a little more pep in my step. But the Mind Wise is supposed to be taken with a meal. And I'm not really going to take up any more of your time. I just wanted to jump on and let you know these are some of the things that I have found that are awesome for the more mature mind. Love you guys.